Thank you, everybody, for joining our Pittcon coffee break. We started these a few years ago to give you a little glimpse into the Pittcon program that's going to be coming up. And so you can maybe get to know some people before you go to Pittcon, so it makes it easier for you to make some friends. So we have an exciting program today, but before we get started, I'm going to do a couple of brief slides about Boston. We are so excited to be going to Boston for the first time. It's the number one biotech in the world. It has tons of universities to it. It's a stone's throw from Logan Airport. It's even free if you take the Silver Line from the airport over to the seaport where we're going to be. And speaking of the seaport, I don't know if you guys have been to Boston lately, but the seaport is just electrifying. There is so much fun stuff to do around. So our attendees are going to have a great time experiencing the seaport in Boston. This is our program for the week. You can see we start our short courses on Saturday and they go through Tuesday. Our technical program is going to be Sunday through Wednesday, including our Wallace H. Coulter lecture on Sunday night at 6, followed by our welcome reception at 6. We have our very popular, huge vendor exposition Monday through Wednesday, and I didn't put any slides in here, but I can tell you that we have so much fun stuff planned more than ever before on the show floor. So highly recommend going and checking it out there. And of course, we have our Pittcon party on Tuesday night. Speaking of the party, it's going to be at the Boston Museum of Science. We're going to have two wings of the museum. It'll be spread out. There's going to be a DJ and dance floor, lots of food stations around. This is a ticketed event and it will sell out. Tickets are $45. So I recommend if you haven't registered, register, but if you've already registered and have your number, go back into your account and add the ticket because it's going to be a fun night. Everybody has regrets if they don't go. Every year it happens. Pittcon's conference is organized into 6 tracks. And the idea behind this is because we have a very diverse program, but we want to offer our attendees the ability to do conference within a conference. So if my field of work is in energy, I can look for that goldenrod yellow color in that icon and know that if I see that, then that's the programming that's relevant to me. But because it's so broad, we also offer the ability to cross-pollinate with different disciplines and to see different ideas and viewpoints on how to solve problems. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the employment service, and it's tied into today, but the reason why it's so near and dear to me is I got my job at Pittcon in the year 2000. So, and these are my 2 chairs for employment, Josh Imperator and Matt Price, and they've done a fantastic job doing what I asked to pay it forward back to our scientific community. We're going to have resume review, and I'm proud to say that we're working with JobScan. JobScan is a program, and they're going to give our attendees discounted subscriptions to this, but it essentially beats the AI bots. If you have your resume or CV and you're going for a job, it'll look at the keywords to make sure that your resume will get past and the right eyes see it. We're going to do pitch pits for the first time ever. And I wanted to do this because I mentor a lot of students and I tell them they've got to have their personal or their elevator pitch at the ready. And so this will give opportunity for people to do that and then get feedback from some judges. And because Boston is the venture capital of the world, we're going to do the same thing with entrepreneurial pitches on Monday afternoon. This is kind of like a Shark Tank thing. So if you have a business idea, you can bounce it off a panel of judges so to get feedback. And finally, we're going to do our LinkedIn bar for the first time on Tuesday morning and afternoon. And I'm really excited about this. It's not the bar where you drink, it's the bar where you go and visit and get feedback on your LinkedIn profile. You can see on the bottom right is the website for all of these activities. I mentioned those 6 program tracks a minute ago. Pittcon is the only conference that has professional development as one of its program tracks. And we've done this for a number of reasons. We've always gotten a lot of first-time presenters at Pittcon, and our demographics show we tend to get a lot of early career people. And ever since Pittcon, we're getting a lot of pivoters. So people mid-career who think they want a change after COVID. So what I did was I went to our professional development landing page and I pulled a sampling of short courses on the left. Those are paid courses. Enrollment is still open for them. And then on the right, you can see a sampling of our networking roundtables and workshops. These are free for attendees to come to. And they're meant to be a smaller group of people talking about common problems and how to solve them. And you can see that professional development icon in the bottom left. When you see that, you know the programming has to do with professional development. I encourage everybody to download the LabSci by Pittcon app. It's in the Google Play Store and the Apple equivalent to that. Once you log in and create your profile, you can make your entire schedule for the week and see absolutely everything that Pittcon's doing. And we're in just a couple minutes, we're going to hear from Carolyn for the first time, but I met her recently and fell in love. Her passion is infectious. She really cares about people and putting them into careers that make them happy and fulfilled. And she's really good at it. And so I wanted her to be involved with Pittcon. So we're delighted to have her involved with us. She's going to talk on Monday afternoon at the Pittcon Pavilion, which will be in the back of the show floor, about LinkedIn. And we purposefully put her on Monday afternoon so that Tuesday you can go and see her for more one-on-one LinkedIn help at the LinkedIn bar. And today she's going to talk to us about how to wow at Pittcon. I just want to make one more comment and a thank you. Your participation means the world to Pittcon. We are a nonprofit. We started in 1950. We donate over 90% of our proceeds back to support science and education. We have a small staff and a large group of volunteers who are very dedicated. And every exhibitor and every registrant really is part of something bigger, and that's helping to make more future scientists. So we thank you for your support of Pittcon. And with that, I will see you in Boston and turn things over to Carolyn.
Thank you, Heather. I'm so excited. Let me share my screen. And can you let me know, Heather, if you can see the screen? Just want to make sure.
I see it. It's beautiful.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, let's get started. Imagine stepping into Pittcon and instantly knowing without a doubt that you belong. That when you introduce yourself, people lean in. That when you share your work, they listen. That when an opportunity arises, your name is the first one that comes to mind. Now, picture the opposite. Walking in, blending into the crowd, conversations that don't go anywhere, handing over your resume, feeling like it disappears into a void, knowing you have so much to offer, but unsure how to make them see it. Which experience do you want? Because here's the truth. It is not just about what you know. It is about how you show up. And today, I'm going to help you learn how to get prepared so you can show up in a way that makes people remember you for all the right reasons. This session isn't just another talk, it is a transformation, and you are about to learn how to stand out in every interaction, whether you're here to find a job, make meaningful connections, or elevate your career. What we are covering today can change the way you communicate forever. I'm Carolyn Sangal, and I have spent my career helping brilliant STEM professionals like you bridge the gap between technical expertise and real-world success. And today, I'm giving you a framework to make sure that you don't just attend Pittcon, you own it. Let's get started. Here's what we'll cover today to help you get set up for success. We're going to cover how to wow, the mindset and strategies that make you stand out, mastering effective communication, the key to making a lasting impression, both verbal and nonverbal. I'll remind about the Employment Services overview so you can unlock the opportunities just ready for you. And those who attend today, you get the How to Wow checklist. It's going to be your step-by-step guide to preparing for career success, whether you are a job seeker or an employer. And by the time we're done, you will have a clear, actionable plan to maximize every moment at Pittcon. But before we dive in, let's pause. Because you didn't come here just to show up, and you're not going to Pittcon just to show up. You're going for a reason, but what? Exactly. And so let's just take a moment here. And I invite you to just, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. And I invite you to take a deep breath and take another deep breath. And then you can return to your regular pace of breathing, but let's contemplate, let's imagine. Now, picture yourself arriving at Pittcon. You step into the conference or exhibit hall feeling prepared, focused, and energized. You look around and see opportunities everywhere, people to meet, conversations to have, doors waiting to be opened. Ask yourself, what is the one thing you want to walk away with from Pittcon? Maybe it's a new job opportunity. Maybe it's a powerful connection that could change your career. Maybe it's the confidence to present your work with clarity and impact. Whatever it is, define it now. Because once you know your intention, everything falls into place. The way you show up, the conversations you have, the choices you make, they all become steps toward achieving that goal. When you define what you want, your brain starts working to find it. This isn't woo-woo, it's neuroscience. Your mind is constantly filtering information. And when you get clear on your goal, it starts showing you the opportunities that match it. Now, if you're still with me, take one more inhale, exhale, open your eyes. You now have a clear target. Take a moment, write it down, lock it in, because now you know your destination and we can create the strategy to get you there. There's no chat feature. But anyway, think about this. Why are you going to Pittcon? I was going to say, put it in the chat, but you could just think it in your mind. Are you going to look for a job, look for top talent, networking and visibility, explore new collaborations, driving sales, or partnerships? There are all those things, right? But why does it matter? Because knowing where you fit means knowing how to play the game, because each goal requires a different approach. And as we go through today's session, I want you to think about your strategy through the lens of your goal. This isn't just theory, it's about making Pittcon work for you. Now, if there is one thing that will determine your success at Pittcon and beyond, it is this: your ability to communicate. I don't mean just talking. I mean communicating in a way that makes people pay attention, that makes them see your value, that makes them remember you. Because here's the truth: brilliance isn't enough. I've seen it firsthand. I saw it as an industrial scientist. I saw it as a global top performing recruiter for the chemical industry, as someone who was in the rooms where decisions were made. The person who gets the job, the promotion, the funding is not always the smartest person. It's the person who knows how to articulate their value in a way that makes others believe in them. And the best part, this is a skill you can learn. And today I'm going to show you how. Let's put it into terms we can all relate to, okay? Think of your ideas, your expertise, your skills as a compound, a brilliant, valuable compound with the power to create impact. But here's the thing: this compound is only useful if it dissolves, if it integrates, if it can be absorbed. Because if it just sits at the bottom of the container, no reaction happens, no effect, no impact. That's how communication works. If you can't dissolve your experience and expertise into the conversation, if people can't absorb your value, you get overlooked. your skills don't get recognized. The opportunity goes to someone else. And so today I'm going to show you how to increase your solubility, how to communicate in a way that ensures your value is seen, heard, and acted upon. Just like compounds, some messages dissolve effortlessly, spreading their impact, and others just sit there, undissolved, failing to create a reaction. So let me ask you, how soluble is your message? Are you making an impact, or are you settling at the bottom? Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, because I know some of you might actually believe this. My work speaks for itself. And I get it. You have spent years mastering your field, pushing the boundaries of science, creating innovative solutions, and you think, my work is good enough and people will notice. But let's pause for a second. Have you ever seen someone less competent get recognized or get a promotion that you wanted? Have you ever watched a less experienced colleague land an opportunity you were hoping for? And have you ever thought, why did they get chosen instead of me? Because here is the truth. Your work doesn't speak for itself. You do. And if you don't learn how to communicate its value, someone else who can will get the opportunity instead. Because even the best ideas in the world won't get recognized if they aren't understood, remembered, and valued. And that doesn't happen by accident, it happens by design. So the game changer, communication. Technical brilliance might open the door, but communication is what gets you a seat at the table. It is what helps you build influence, create connections, and ensure your work gets the recognition it deserves. Because if you can't clearly articulate what you do, why it matters, how it impacts others, you will always be at the mercy of someone else deciding whether you get seen, heard, or promoted. Now, I want you to picture yourself at Pittcon. You are in a networking conversation, maybe at a job interview, maybe just talking with someone who could open doors for you, and you have one shot to make an impression. What are you going to say? How are you going to make sure they remember you? How do you wow them? That's exactly what the WOW framework is going to show you how to do, how to communicate in a way that is clear, confident, and compelling. So let's break it down. The WOW framework is a simple, powerful structure that you can apply in any high-stakes interaction, whether you're networking, interviewing, pitching, or even just introducing yourself. W, what matters most? Lead with the key idea that will make people listen. O, own your story. How you present yourself is just as important as what you say. W, why it matters. Make your message connect. Why should they care? Why does it matter to them or to the world? The framework applies across everything. Your resume, networking conversations, interviews, even the way you interact with exhibitors and employers at Pittcon. So we'll keep coming back to this. So please think about, how can you apply this framework to make the most of your Pittcon experience? Water break. Make sure you stay hydrated, everybody. Okay, let's try something. Imagine we're at Pittcon and I introduce myself like this. Hi, I'm Carolyn Sangal. I'm a career coach, a strategist. I help people navigate career transitions and find fulfilling work. Okay, now be honest. Would that make you want to keep talking with me? Would you even remember me? Probably not. And that's the problem most people face when introducing themselves. They blend in. But here's the thing, your career built on years of technical expertise depends on how well you communicate your value. If it doesn't spark interest, create connection, or leave an impression, then the conversation might be over before it starts. So let's do this again. And this time, let's try to wow. Have you ever wondered, is this really the right career path for me? Am I in the right place? Is there something more out there? I'm Carolyn Sangal, and I have one big belief: questioning your career is normal. I started in chemistry, I earned my PhD, worked in R&D, and spent years in the chemical industry. But along the way, I saw something that didn't sit right with me. Some of the brightest minds in the field, the people doing incredible technical work, were getting overlooked. Not because they weren't qualified, but because they weren't communicating their value effectively. So I did something unusual. I transitioned into recruiting, headhunting to be precise, so I could see both sides of the hiring process. I worked with top companies searching for technical experts and with brilliant scientists looking for their next career move. And I saw the same problem over and over. The best opportunities weren't always going to the most talented people. They were going to the people who knew how to communicate their expertise and impact. That's why I created Next Success, to bridge that gap. I help STEM professionals like you not only refine what you know, but communicate it in a way that gets you noticed, opens doors, and helps you build a career that fuels the life you actually want. The people who stand out at Pittcon, they aren't just the smartest ones in the room. They are the ones that know how to wow in every interaction. That's why I created the WOW framework, a simple, powerful way to ensure your message doesn't just dissolve into the noise, but it stands out, sticks, and creates impact. Okay, so now be honest again. Now, would you want to keep talking with me? Let's go through another example. First impressions are powerful. They happen fast. Within 7 seconds of meeting someone, they have already decided whether they trust you, whether you seem competent, and whether they even want to continue to have the conversation. But here's the key: you don't just want to make a first impression. You want to make a positive and memorable first impression that works in your favor. So think about a time when you met someone and within seconds you already knew how you felt about them. What gave you that impression? Was it their posture, their facial expression, their energy? We make snap judgments like this all the time, and the same thing is happening when people meet you. So the question is, what kind of impression are you leaving? Now let's see what science says about first impressions. Well, we'll see what science says in 2 more slides. But when someone owns the space, you can feel it. They walk into a room and heads turn. Not because they're loud, but because their presence commands attention. They stand tall, they make eye contact, and exude confidence. What makes them different? They're open, shoulders back, head high, engaged. They take up space, not shrinking, but grounded. They own their energy. They are calm, collected, and in control. These are the people who spark curiosity, who make others want to know, who is that? And at Pittcon, when every conversation could be a career-changing one, this is how you want to show up. Now let's compare it to a very different kind of presence. On the flip side, we have those who unintentionally blend into the background. They may be incredibly smart, but their body language tells a different story. What signals are they sending? Shoulders hunched, head down, defensive or disengaged, avoiding eye contact, lack of confidence or uncertainty, small movements, fidgeting, nervous energy instead of control. Now let's be clear. This isn't about changing who you are. This is about adjusting how you present yourself. Because here's the truth. If you don't take control of the first impression you make, people will make assumptions for you. And at a place like Pittcon, where opportunities are everywhere, you don't want to leave that up to chance. So let's make sure that you're setting the right tone from the moment you step into the room. That's where the WOW framework comes in. Here's the science. Most people think communication is about the words they say. But what if I told you words only make up 7% of how people perceive your message? According to Albert Mehrabian's research, first impressions are actually 55% body language, your posture, facial expression, eye contact, 38% tone of voice, your energy, enthusiasm, confidence, and only 7% the actual words you say. This means if your language and tone don't align with your message, people won't believe what you're saying. Imagine someone saying, "I'm excited to be here." Do you believe them? No, because their nonverbal communication contradicts their words. Now let's go deeper into body language. What messages are you sending before you even say a word? Let's do a quick exercise. Without hearing a word, what do you instinctively feel about these people? Who looks confident? Who looks disengaged? Who would you want to talk to? Remember, this is exactly how people are evaluating you in networking, interviews, and professional settings. Before you say a single word, your body language is already speaking for you. Now, your nonverbal communication has 3 key levers that influence how people perceive you: your face, your hands, and your body posture. So, facial expressions: are you smiling, engaged, relaxed? Or are you frowning, tense, or disinterested? Are your hands open and natural, or stiff and fidgety? Are you standing tall with an open posture, or are you shrinking into yourself? When you control these 3 levers, you control how people experience you in any professional setting. So let's break it down one by one. Every movement you make sends a message. Your posture literally changes how people perceive you. When you stand tall, shoulders back, take up space, you signal confidence and authority. So you want to be taken seriously? Own the space you're in. And what works and what doesn't? Open posture, standing tall, shoulders back, feet planted is confidence and approachability. Leaning in slightly shows engagement and active listening. Crossed arms, hunched shoulders, that can signal discomfort, resistance, or a lack of confidence. Fidgeting or shifting too much distracts from your words and weakens your presence. And your face is one of the biggest gateways of how you feel, and people read it instantly. Smiling signals warmth, confidence, and approachability. Eye contact builds trust and engagement. And micro expressions, small unconscious expressions, can reveal nervousness or discomfort. You want to know if your expressions match your intent? Record yourself speaking and play it back. Does your face reflect the message you want to send? Have you ever been unsure what to do with your hands when talking? I mean, you're not alone. Your hands are powerful communicators, and they can either reinforce your message, or when you're doing something you want to reinforce your message, if it's direct, you can do this. You don't want to point right at somebody. That's like bad. But you can have an open palms, right? Expressive gestures. You want to keep your hands visible, though. Now, if you're hiding your hands in your pocket, behind your back, it shows like nervousness or lack of openness. And if you're excessively fidgeting, tapping, twisting a ring, shifting too much, it's distraction. So your hands are actually a tool. Use them to reinforce your words, not compete with them. Overusing gestures in a distracting way is harmful. So keep your hands visible. People instinctively trust those who don't hide their hands. Okay, this is cool. Did you know your facial expression doesn't just reflect your emotions? It can actually create them. So try this right now. Take a deep breath, sit up a little taller, and lift the corners of your mouth just slightly. Feel the shift? This is powerful because when you step into a networking conversation or an interview, you can instantly shift your energy by choosing to control what your face is saying. And here's the best part, your emotions are contagious. When you bring positive, engaged energy, the person you're speaking with will naturally mirror it back. Now, research shows that when you smile, even if you don't feel happy, your brain actually starts to release feel good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. So, your physiology influences your psychology. When you're happy, you smile. But the fascinating part is when you smile, you feel happier. So, you want to be more confident before an interview? Start by adjusting your face. It is a small shift that creates huge impact. The simple act of smiling can actually trigger a shift in your mood. Your physiology influences your psychology. Just as stress tightens your jaw, furrows your brow, constantly, consciously relaxing your face can create a sense of calm and ease. Emotion is a two-way street. You don't just express feelings, you can create them by adjusting your physical state. So you don't have to wait to feel confident before showing up as confidence. You can create confidence, engagement, warmth in real time just by using your facial expressions intentionally. Now, let's take this even further because your body also plays a role in how people perceive you. You ever notice how stress makes your shoulders tense, your breathing shallow, your posture shrink? Your brain interprets this as a physical state and a signal that something's wrong, amplifying feelings of anxiety or doubt. But the opposite is also true. When you intentionally shift your posture, standing tall, opening up your stance like a superhero, breathing deeply, you send signals of confidence, safety, and readiness to your brain. Your physical state doesn't just reflect your emotions, it creates them. So let's try something. Sit up a little straighter, uncross your arms, roll your shoulders back, and take a deep breath. Notice the shift. Your brain just registered that you are more confident and in control. So your body doesn't just reflect your confidence, it creates it. And when you adopt an open, powerful posture, your brain releases hormones that create and increase confidence. So here's a hack. Before a big interview, networking event, take 2 minutes. Now, you might look a little weird if you're doing it in the middle of the floor, but if you want to do it in the middle of the floor at Pittcon and I am there, I will do it with you and it'll be looking cool. But you could go into the bathroom. You could even go into the bathroom stall if you wanted. Or if they have a mirror. I mean, women are great with this. You can make a power pose, right? And when somebody looks at you like, what is she doing? You'd be like, you know what? I am power posing to increase my confidence. Want to join with? Like, let's do this together. Who are you? I'm Wonder Woman, right? I mean, it sounds so silly. I know it does. But try it. Don't knock it. Actually try it because nonverbal communication is so powerful. You don't just influence how others perceive you, you influence how you perceive you. Oh my gosh, let me take you back to my first big conference. It was the ACS Rubber Division. I was 20 years old and I was an invited guest because I was a co op student for a company that had a booth. And I had heard dress to impress. And so I thought, well, impressive ladies wear high heels, right? Now, let me tell you, on a regular day, then and even now, I am a jeans, t shirt, and sneakers kind of girl. But this was my first professional conference, and I wanted to make a good impression, and so I suited up. A stiff wool suit, a heavy leather briefcase. I mean, it was the 90s, and high heels. Honestly, I didn't even know what a conference was, but I walked in thinking I looked so sharp. And then I saw the expo, which was a fraction of what Pittcon actually is, and it looked huge. And within 10 minutes, I was dying. My feet hurt. I was overheating. And that briefcase was practically cutting off the circulation in my hand. And the worst part, I didn't bring backup clothes or shoes. So I spent the whole day uncomfortable, distracted, and unable to be fully present to appreciate the opportunities in front of me because I dressed how I thought I should instead of dressing in a way that made me feel both confident, comfortable. So the lesson, dress to impress, yes, but set yourself up for success. Be comfortable, be polished, and most importantly, be you. I now have sparkly shoes that Heather has seen, and you will probably see them at Pittcon. And they are flats and they are comfortable and they feel like sneakers, but they look kind of cool. So when you feel good, you show up better. Now, let's talk about one of the most overlooked factors in making an impression, eye contact. You ever had a conversation where someone stared too intensely? Or have you had a conversation where someone wouldn't make any eye contact at all? Both are uncomfortable, right? So, great eye contact isn't about just staring, it's about strategic engagement. So, enter the triangle technique. So, instead of locking onto someone's eyes the whole time, which can feel intimidating, you can shift your gaze between 3 points: their left eye, the right eye, and the forehead. If you're on a date, instead of the forehead, go on and focus on their lips because this keeps your eye contact engaging and natural rather than robotic or overly intense. And it's very important. We're scientists, right? So it's really important to make sure that you understand. I am not saying like 2 seconds left, 2 seconds right, 2 seconds top, like randomize it. Okay, randomize it. It'll also make you look more confident and trustworthy without making the other person feel uncomfortable. Okay, have you ever noticed when you're talking to a close friend, you naturally start to mirror their gestures, posture, or tone? It's subconscious. It happens without thinking, and you can use this little nugget or info to your advantage when you meet someone new. That's because people like people who feel familiar to them. So when someone subtly mirrors our body language, we instinctively feel more comfortable and connected to them. Mirroring is a subconscious trust signal. It makes people feel understood. It builds instant rapport. Now, how do you do this without being creepy? Subtlety is the key because this isn't about copying movements in real time. It's just naturally aligning your energy with theirs. You can also match their vocal tone and pace. I did this as a recruiter a lot. Most of my stuff was on the phone. So if I call somebody and they answer, hello, then I would say, oh, hey, just wanted to talk to you today. How are you doing? Because if I showed up like this, like I normally go, they would be not interested in the least. But if I matched their tone, their pace, if I reflected a little bit of their energy, I observed, I adjusted, right? It was a much better interaction. So when you are in person, observe and adjust. Notice their posture. If they're leaning in, do the same after a few moments. And when you become proficient in nonverbal cues, smiling, having confident body language, eye contact, mirroring, and a confident presence, you will walk into Pittcon ready to own every interaction. So think of someone that you consider to be a truly great communicator. Maybe it's an actor who captivates an audience. Maybe it's a politician who commands a room, or a news anchor who speaks with clarity and authority. What is it that sets them apart? Is it their presence? their tone of voice, the way they pause for emphasis? Is it how they make you feel when they speak? But here's something important. These people weren't just born great communicators. They were not magically gifted with perfect articulation, an effortless charisma, or an innate ability to command attention. They studied communication. They practiced. They refined their craft until it became second nature. And if they can do it, so can you. So let's talk about how. Now, in science, we don't just assume we know something, right? We experiment, we form a hypothesis, we gather information, we analyze results, and we draw conclusions. Now, what if you applied the same structured analytical approach to your own communication? Think about it. If you had a new method for a reaction, would you just assume it works perfectly the first time? No, you would test it. You would adjust variables. You would optimize for better results. Yet, when it comes to communication, most super smart technical people just wing it and hope for the best. That's where great communicators set themselves apart. The difference between average and extraordinary communicators is that the great ones experiment, they analyze, they refine, and they get results. And if you're here today, it means you have already spent years investing in technical education. You are highly knowledgeable about complex, difficult things. Now, imagine what happens when you pair that technical knowledge with equally strong communication skills. That's how you wow. That's how you take charge of your career, not just at Pittcon, but everywhere. You heard the phrase, you can't manage what you don't measure. Because if you're not tracking something, how do you know if it's working? You can't fix synthesis without reviewing the data. You can't optimize a reaction without measuring the yield. And the same goes for communication. You can't manage what you don't measure. This is what great communicators do differently. They don't guess how they come across. They don't assume they're engaging, clear, or persuasive. They measure it. And now I'll show you exactly how you can do that for yourself. Here's how you apply the scientific method to your communication. You record yourself. You go on, you set up your phone or the camera on your computer, and you capture yourself standing or sitting, and you pretend to introduce yourself. You answer common interview questions. You have a conversation, and you get 5 to 10 minutes of footage. And then this is important. You wait a day, an entire day, 24 plus hours before reviewing it because you want to detach from it a little bit. Now, here's the thing. Some of you might feel uncomfortable doing this, but let's shift the mindset right now. This isn't about judgment. This isn't about my face looks weird. It's about data. As a scientist, you are simply gathering data while observing an experiment. Your worth isn't at risk here. You are already awesome. You were made on purpose for a purpose that only you can do. But communication is a skill, and you can't improve what you don't analyze. Now, when you review your recording, be on the lookout for these elements. You are identifying ways to optimize your communication, and there are 3 major focus areas that determine how your message lands: nonverbal, verbal, and the actual words, the content. And you apply what we've been talking about. And you do what you've been doing your entire life. You look at somebody, you look at yourself on the recording, and you judge. Are you confident and engaged, or are you closed off? Are your gestures reinforcing your message or distracting? Are you making eye contact that creates connection? Now, how about verbal? Your voice, your tone, your delivery? Is your tone engaging or monotone? Are you using strategic pauses for impact? Is your volume strong enough to project confidence? And then the content, the message clarity, the impact. Are you getting to the point or are you rambling? Are you leading with what matters most? Are you making it easy to remember and repeat? Like, wow. These three factors dictate how you're perceived and whether you wow or blend into the background. And so, how do you know what to improve? Simple. What distracts from your message? Nonverbal could be your posture, your facial expression, your hand gestures. Verbal, it could be your voice tone or the volume or the pace or the pauses. Are you structuring your message using the WOW framework? Take note. Become self aware of how you look, how you sound, and what you're actually saying. What is one small adjustment you could make that would instantly improve your presence? This is how you refine, iterate, and grow. And then you do it again. And you record and review. And then you do it again. And you think back to when you were in school learning something new. You didn't just read the material and expect to ace the exam. You did practice problems. You made mistakes. You learned from them. You worked through the steps until you understood how to do it. And then on test day, even if the problem looked different, you were prepared because you had done the work. The same principle applies for how to wow at Pittcon. When you do the work, practice, refine, and improve, you will walk into networking conversations, interviews, and presentations feeling prepared, confident, and ready to wow. So let's do the work because the opportunity is waiting for you. The WOW framework isn't about just showing up. It is about making sure people remember you for the right reasons. What matters most? Lead with impact. Make sure your first impression communicates confidence, clarity, and credibility. Own your story. Take control of how you show up, your posture, your tone, your engagement. Determine how others perceive you, and then why it matters. Tie everything back to the bigger picture. Show how you bring value and make it easy for others to see your worth. We've covered the science of communication. We've talked about how to measure, refine, and improve. And now you have a strategy to show up and wow at Pittcon, not just by attending, but by owning every interaction. Now let's talk about the tools that can help you put this into action. The ultimate pre-Pittcon checklist. Now I know we've covered a lot today, and I want you to walk away and I don't want you to walk away just inspired. I want you to be prepared. So to make sure you are fully prepared for Pittcon, I've put together the How to Wow Ultimate Pre-Pittcon Checklist. It is a resource packed with strategies, reminders, and tools to help you maximize your time at the conference. You'll learn how to wow in written communication, how to wow in networking conversations, how to wow in interviewers. And if you're an employer looking to attract talent, I made a special resource just for you. You can email me and ask me for it. There's also a reminder in the regular checklist. So please make sure you grab your copy. I will show this QR code one more time in just a few slides. This is the reminder of all the great employment services happening at Pittcon, ready just for you. There's the resume review. There's only 15 spots. It is limited. I don't even know if there's any more available, but you might want to check and see because getting your resume and your CV reviewed by experts can really help you be able to stand out. There's that inaugural Pittcon Pitch Pit, Monday, March 3rd. There's the elevator pitch pit competition in the morning, and in the evening, in your afternoon, it's Pitcher Innovation. I heard this talk is going to be amazing. It's LinkedIn, your essential tool for success. It is Monday, March 3rd at 3 p.m. I've heard this speaker is really great. Okay, it's me. It's me. It's still me. I can look like that, and I probably might look like that at Pittcon, depending on how the flight goes. There's also the LinkedIn bar on Tuesday. Again, limited spots, but you could get your LinkedIn profile reviewed by experts, and I'm also going to be there for most of the day. So if you want to meet me in person and you didn't get to meet me on Monday because of the crowds, come all over on Tuesday with your LinkedIn bar slot. Now, top performers in any field don't do it alone. They have coaches because success isn't just about hard work. It's about refinement, strategy, and perspective. So who's helping you refine your strategy beyond Pittcon? Who's guiding you as you take the right career steps, not just the next one? The professionals who get ahead, the ones who land the right roles, build powerful networks, create lasting impact, and aren't leaving it to chance. They are intentional, they have the right support. And so, if you're serious about moving forward with clarity and confidence, it's time to get that support. What if your career wasn't just a paycheck, but a perfect fit for your life? Through the Next Success Method, I guide next chapter explorers, whether you're in transition, feeling stuck, or ready for more, to becoming authentic success creators, where you align your career with your natural abilities, values, your personal vision. You stop wasting energy on the wrong roles and you start making strategic, intentional moves. So step into clarity, confidence, and success that was meant for you. Because success isn't about just getting a job, it's about getting the right one for you. So, where are you in your career journey? Are you moving with intention or just reacting with what comes next? If you are ready to take control of your future, let's talk. Bring it all together. You can get the How to Wow Ultimate Pre-Pittcon checklist for individuals by scanning the QR code here. Employers, you can get your employer's guide to Wow sent to you. So these are your tools, but tools don't change careers. Action does. You came here because you know there's more for you, more opportunities, more connections, more clarity, and you've seen how communication shapes perception, how presence influences outcomes, how intentional preparation separates those who blend in from those who stand out. Now, imagine yourself at Pittcon. You walk in with a new level of confidence. Conversations flow effortlessly. People remember you. You leave an impact. Doors open. Opportunities find you because you've done the work and you've positioned yourself for success. This isn't about just one conference. It is about how you show up for every opportunity, every career move, every room you walk into. That's how you wow. That's how you own your career. Step forward, take action. Your next success is already waiting for you. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. Start building your network now, and we can open it up for questions if there are any.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Once again, you're an inspiration. And you saw me laughing with the hand thing because I struggle with that. My hands are distracting because I can see people watching them and I'm subliminally telling myself, put them down, but they pop up every time.
Yeah, mine do that too.
That was really incredible. We do have it's set up as a webinar, so there's a Q&A button at the bottom. And if anyone wants to raise their hand and ask a question for Carolyn, our moderators can let you be unmuted. So does anyone have questions?
Will this presentation be
Oh,
sent
there
out?
is I'm sorry, there is one question. Go ahead.
Carolyn was reading it. Will this presentation be sent out?
But it also looks like Perusia has a question.
Hi, can you hear me, Carolyn?
I can. Can you tell me how to say your first name?
It's Perusa.
Oh, that's
Perusia.
beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Again, wonderful talk. I really appreciated all of your recommendations for approaching people at Pittcon and anyone and making that first impression. I do appreciate that very much. My question is, you mentioned talking about coaches. How would you, as a person who is looking for a job, who is looking to make a stance, how would you recommend approaching someone that you would want as a coach?
Well, you connect with me on LinkedIn and then we have a conversation. So if it wasn't me, you can also get a mentor. And so you would ask somebody who you respect and you appreciate, and you ask them if they would feel comfortable helping you to give you guidance. I mean, there are people like me who make that their career now to actually formally coach people, but there are wonderful people just a few years ahead of you that
Mhm.
probably also would love to help you out. And just please remember that as you get a few years ahead of where you are now, make sure you always go back and reach back and help the next person too. So that's what the lady who at my first conference, she used to sponsor me to go to any other rubber division conference. She let me sleep in her hotel room. She said, just get a plane ticket and I'll cover everything else. And I was like, oh my gosh, because as a grad student, you have no money. And I'm like, but Colleen, how am I supposed to help you? How am I supposed to repay you? And she said, make sure a few years from now, you reach back. And so hopefully she'll be proud of what I'm doing. But you can ask somebody, or if you do want to look at official things, I'm getting ready to launch a job seeker solutions platform that'll have job search roadmap and interactive on-demand resources that people can utilize, as well as live training sessions, Q&A with me. And depending on the package some people get, there'd be different amounts of time that someone can actually work with me one-on-one to have a resume review, LinkedIn review, all of that. But those things are also free for you at Pittcon. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I try to treat people like I would want to be treated. So I'd want to try to use a little bit of free resources. And then if time and wanting to get somewhere faster is a thing, then reach out to a coach.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I really appreciate your answer.
Yeah, no problem.
And the question in the chat is, will this presentation be sent out? I know that we just recorded it. I don't know that we talked about it, Carolyn.
I mean, I plan on chopping it up and making it into content. So if it's okay with you guys, then I'm cool with having it get sent out or having it on my website or something for people to be able to utilize. The main intention is we want to help as many people as possible. We want this to be an impact. So if you found this valuable, then yes, please share the information, share the insight, have your friends, neighbors, coworkers, family members, anyone, cousins, have them connect with me. I genuinely want to help. And I've set a very ambitious goal that within the next year, I will impact 100,000 lives and 1 million within 3. So help me get there if you liked it. So
Thank you. That's fantastic. Does anyone else have any questions?
Carolyn, let me just expand on the answer to that question about whether the presentation will be sent out. We do have the list of everybody who is in attendance. We have your emails. Once we decide the mechanism, we will let everybody know how you can view this seminar, after today. Keep an eye on your email.
thank you for that. And thank you to everybody who came. Super excited. And I'm so excited to get to see you guys at Pittcon as well. So please personally come and say hi. I would love to see faces and meet more people.
Thank you again so much, Carolyn. Now you guys see why I fell in love with her. I love her passion and wanting to help others, because that's why employment services back at Pittcon, I want to pay it forward to the people who helped before me. So I guess with that, we'll close. I don't see any other questions, but thank you for the time, and see you in Boston in a couple weeks.
Yeah. See you all. Thank you,
Thanks.
Heather.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.